I'll introduce you first, and you can introduce Brian then, or you'll talk about Brian.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about him, and then I just wasn't sure how long you wanted him to. You know what I mean? I'll let you.
Yeah, we'll probably do a little Q&A. You know, have him, you know, give a little, because I don't think very many people know who he is.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's we got 10 people on YouTube, so that's nice.
YouTuber. Okay.
Zoom, got it. Okay, only 17 people on right now.
Okay.
We had 100 on last week, so we'll give it another minute. Hey, Brian.
Hey guys, what's up? Good to see you.
Brian?
Hey, John. Good to see you. Hey, Sean, what's up?
You know. Oh yeah, I'll let you know, Brian. Hold on. I know you missed Callie a little bit. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Let's see. We don't real quick.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Couple weeks.
All right. Sorry, John.
No problem.
Looks good.
Dun, dun.
Okay. Where is everybody?
You got some YouTube. I like it. There you go. They're all popping in.
Okay, everyone. John Haremza here. Super excited to be with you here this Friday for this Fireside Chat. Here it is, the 24th day of September. Crazy how fast this month, really how fast this year has gone. We're really kind of going into that final quarter of 2021, and we're hoping to go into that final quarter just, you know, on fire, building momentum, so we make 2022 absolutely our best year ever. So I am super excited. Last week, you know, we had Fraser Brooks, again, an incredible trainer, motivator, social media expert. And on that Zoom last week, which was recorded, it's on my YouTube channel. If you go to John Haremza YouTube channel, make sure you hit the notification button, you know, hit that follow button. But you can see that interview that I did with Fraser Brooks last week on the 17th. But on that interview, we gave away 5 tickets to GoPro. GoPro, this is a $200 ticket or $197 ticket, I think it is. And we gave 5 tickets away. And so we're going to do that again today. Right. So we're going to take a screenshot of everyone that is on YouTube, everyone that is on Zoom here. We're going to get those names. And then next Friday, we'll announce the winners of those 5 free tickets that were given away from the audience today. And I'm going to announce the 5 winners right now from last week. And so in case they're not on here, you know, they were on last week, so they definitely won the ticket, even if they're not on this week. But so let's go ahead and do that so I don't forget about it. So first off, we have Kenneth Ingridson, INGV Inverson, I think it's pronounced, INGVARSEN. And then we have one winner that was on YouTube, and it's ZHAH is the name. And then Pi Communications, and then Joy Kenny, and the Delphina Weisler. That's DELFINA, and then WISENER. So we'll try to communicate with them, but if you are one of those winners, if you could private message me on Facebook, that would be great. So we can make arrangements to get that ticket over to you so you can get registered for the GoPro event first weekend in December. The GoPro event is the Super Bowl of the network marketing industry. You know, it'll be about 250,000 people attending that streaming event. So going to be unbelievable. So today we are going to expand our knowledge in the area of social media. We have got a very, very special guest, Coach Fryer, Brian Fryer. He is a social media influencer, and he is also not just going to be on our Zoom here today, but he is going to be live in person at Loomerland. This is going to be, I think, a 3-day event in Loomerland. A little bit intercoastal outside of San Diego. I've been there. Absolutely, I mean, unbelievable setting. You can camp there. It's an experience. It's a unbelievable experience and wealth of knowledge. The lineup of people that are going to be attending that event is phenomenal. And one of them is going to be Brian. And so to kind of kick this off, we're going to interview Brian. I want to hear who Brian is. I want to get his background and get his best tips. We'll have some interaction as always, but to bring Brian on, a person that knows Brian real well, which is Sean Loomer. Of course, we all know Sean and Ty Loomer. The formulators behind are, they're formulators behind so many incredible products. But I mean, just incredible couple. But we have Sean on here. So Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you. Say what you want to say and tell us a little bit, for those of us that don't know much about Brian. I know, he's a network marketing trainer, he's a social media influencer, but give us a little bit of information about Brian.
No, absolutely. Thanks, John. Love, man. I always love just listening to you and being a part of whatever you're doing. It's maybe it's because we're such, we're similar age, right? It's John, it's not often I get someone about my age. I'm always feeling, what's going on? We're just time flying by. But first and foremost, the biggest reason why I'm excited is about Brian Fryer is not just of his skill set and how he helps people. He's incredible at that. Everybody always gets better. Everybody seems to win with Brian. Is just who he is as a human being. And Tylene and I, that's so important to us. And I don't know, Brian, we probably met about 8 years ago or so, and his wife, Danny, and his kids. And, I like him because he's from California, but not anymore. He's out in the Midwest. It's all good. But he's just full of integrity, John. And you and I both know, and we've been around the block a couple times. You got to have people that you can trust, that you believe in, and that starts with who they are as a human being. And he's just a special human being. And so he brings a ton to the table. I've watched what he's done with so many people. He's worked with some of the best. He speaks at some of the best events there are when it comes to social media, as far as influencing, teaching all these ins and outs for the networkers, right? So that's what's cool about Brian for everyone on here is he is specific. He knows what is going on in our environment. And that's why I think, it's imperative that people start to learn and grasp that. As we all know, technologies has certainly been advancing with all the different social media platforms, but in today's environment, you better get good at it. You don't want to be left behind because it's just a different time. It's a different place. We're building businesses differently, and social media and online and all these things. It's so important. And so with that, I'm going to flip it back. Brian, jump on here with John. John, and I want you obviously to do your thing. I'm going to sit back. I'm excited to listen and take notes, man, because I love you both. I am excited, John, that Brian's going to be in person out at Loomerland for just to help people. He's going to be speaking on Saturday, the October 9th. We're super grateful that he's willing to come out and help all of us. So, John, Brian, let's go, man.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, listen, Sean, before we jump into Brian, so we don't forget, for those people that, want to know more about Loomerland, what is actually going to take place at this particular event, where do they go?
Yeah, they can. man, they can go to Loomerland, they can go to SeanandTy.com and just click right into events store, and just the very first thing that's going to show up is purchase a ticket. And it is all about them. You know, people need to be lifted right now and enlightened. We're going to have obviously people like Brian. We're so grateful for him on the business side of things for all of us entrepreneurs. And then we're going to have some strong experts in some other areas to make sure we're keeping our health, where it needs to be preventative and all those types of things. And, Tylene, of course, will be there. So we have some amazing people and speakers, but they just go to SeanandTy.com, go right to the store. The very first thing, you don't have to scroll anywhere, just go right to the store. And that Loomerland ticket is right there. And I'll get you I got to get a special coupon for these folks, John. I'm going to send it to you and you can maybe share that later on, but yeah.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, guys, here's what I'll tell you about Loomerland. It will be an experience where there will be people that have breakthroughs. Okay, there's going to be people that have just like life-changing breakthroughs attending this event in Loomerland. So if you're not already attending, if it's something that you haven't even thought about or didn't know about, I encourage you to go to SeanandTy.com, check it out, see what the lineup is there. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will be, again, blown away. So Sean, thank you for that. So Brian, now we're going to bring you on. Brian, so you're a social media influencer, just as Sean had just described right now. What's going on in the world, what has gone on in the world, social media has become, Hannah Gallagher, one of our top people. She's built her entire, matter of fact, that whole group have built their entire group off of social media, connecting with people they didn't know prior to connecting with them on social media. And so, this is an area of great interest. And if it is not, folks, in your great interest, it needs to be, because it is a part of your life. You need to learn it. It's a work in progress. So Brian, if you could start out giving us a little bit of your background, your history. How did you become this social media guru, this social media influencer? And then give us, we want to hear maybe a little interaction. We'll get some tips and ideas from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for the invitation. It truly is an honor just to see what you guys have done here, and to be able to come grace this team with some wisdom today. I don't take this lightly. I know your guys' time is valuable, and John, it's an incredible honor for me to come serve the team today. So thank you so much for the invitation. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Sean Loomer over there as well, and making the connection. And I'm honored to speak at Loomerland again, like they shared as well. So I'm fired up. I'm excited to be here with all those kind words you guys were sharing. I don't get embarrassed or blush often, but you guys were like making me blush a little bit. So I appreciate all the kind words there. I'll just share my quick story, John. How about that? And then I can kick it back to you, and we'll talk all things social media. I'm here to serve. I'm really, really excited to get to know each and every one of you a little bit more, answer some questions, and share some of my social media wisdom with you guys. So my quick story, the short version, as I was born and raised in Southern California. Right before we went live, Sean was over there actually giving us a glimpse outside his window of the beautiful Southern California beaches. So I was born and raised in Ventura, California, just up the coast. And growing up there, I had a lifelong dream of actually playing professional baseball. I was fortunate enough back in 2004 to get drafted by the one and only San Diego Padres down there near Loomerland, right? I was fortunate enough to play 8 years of professional baseball. And I always say that two really cool things happened during my baseball career. Number one, I met my now wife, my beautiful wife, Danny. We've got 4 amazing kiddos now. And yes, you heard right. She convinced me to move out here to Indiana, the middle of the Midwest, about 4 years ago. So quite honestly, I'm still trying to learn my way around out here. People are asking me, how do I do this? How do I get here? How do I get there? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm a SoCal guy stuck out in the middle of the Midwest. So where's all my Midwesterners at? You guys out here? Maybe you guys can show me some more of the ropes out here. But I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana now. So that was the first thing. The second really cool thing was actually kind of unfortunate. Halfway through my career, John, I actually suffered a back injury. I was in the weight room lifting weights. Coach Fryer is a big weight lift type of guy, big fitness guy. And I threw my back out. I spent the next several weeks, invested thousands and thousands of dollars on chiropractors, massages, acupuncture, you name it. I tried it. Nothing was working. I got a phone call shortly after that from a good family friend. She was a principal at a local school, and she says, "Hey, there's this teacher at my school who's sharing this miracle potion stuff. Might help your back out." And I was like, "Hey, I'm game for anything. Let me try it." Well, long story short, after about 3 weeks of taking that particular product, I felt like $1,000,000. I was back in the gym. I was back out on the baseball field. And wouldn't you know it, that about 2 weeks after that, I found out that there was a business opportunity attached to that amazing product. And this was my introduction to the network marketing space back in about 2007. So as far as my network marketing journey goes, I was a part of that first company for 3.5, 4 years. And here's the bad news. I did not make a single dollar in profit my first 4 years. Some people might say, well, you're crazy. Why did you stay with it? You're losing money. Well, you weren't making money. I was like, listen, number one, I knew the network marketing profession worked. Number two, I just had to figure out how to work it. Anybody else agree with this? Just say amen, right? Okay. Maybe some of you can relate to that. I had ran off all my family members and friends. They all said I was crazy, but neither here nor there. Unfortunately, after 4 years, that company went away, and kind of being in a tough spot. Family members and friends kind of laughed at me. There was this new thing called the Facebook. Maybe some of you guys have heard of the Facebook. Anybody else? The Facebook? About 10 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to try my hand at social media, see if I can meet some new people. So I invested in some coaching, some courses, some mentorship to really understand social and how I could potentially build a business there. So I spent about 1.5 years doing that. Next thing you know, I got a phone call from a great mentor who had done very well in this profession. Brand new company was launching. It aligned with our core values, God, family, business. I'm like, hey, I'm in. I love it. We joined that company. Sean knows it very well. Within the first 6 months, we became the number 4 income earners in that company. Over the course of the next 2.5 years, we enrolled over 700 folks, all from social media, creating curiosity, providing value on social media, not being spammy and, say, hey, buy my products, join my team. We're all about people. We're all about relationships. We're all about integrity and trust. And we did a lot of good things there. Unfortunately, after 3 years, that company went away. And I'll finish this with this part of my story. I started getting phone calls, emails, messages from leaders all over the world, all different companies saying, Brian, can you teach me what you just did? More importantly, can you help serve and educate and teach my team? And it was at that moment, 6.5 years ago, I decided to transition from being in the field, having done it, to now teaching and blessing hundreds of thousands of network marketers all over the world the last 6.5 years. And that takes us to today, John. So hopefully that gives you a little, the short version of how we got here.
Well, fantastic, Brian. Well, we're excited to hear, what you've learned, what you can share with us. And, I always love hearing the stories, right? The stories of, people's introduction, entry into the industry of networking. And, because people, they see people that are successful, right? And they think they just fall on top of the mountain. Like it's just like they sign up and they're instantly successful. I mean, here you made no money in your first 4 years, right? And that really is kind of the experience that most people have. And it's that breakthrough right beyond that. You see it working, it works. You haven't been able to make it work, but it's that consistency, that trial and error, that learning. And for you, it was that entry into that social media that was really that breakthrough. But anyway, I'm fascinated by that. I remember my very first company, you talk about this. There was this couple, and this was in Las Vegas. We're in a convention center. I mean, there was 20,000 people in the room, and this couple was being recognized at that time. The top level was national marketing director, and they, the husband is up there saying, that first 4 years we didn't sell anything, and the wife interrupts them and says, honey, that's not true. We sold the house, we sold the car, we sold the boat. It's what people do to be successful. And then to see them and the sacrifices they've met, maintaining that vision that I know this can work. I just need to figure it out. Because when you get it to work, folks, there's nothing like it. When you get it to work, There is not a better life out there than being a successful network marketer. I can promise you that. And again, this social media is such of a huge part of the future of this industry. So with that, Brian, give us, what do you want to teach us? What do you want to teach us? Maybe the to-dos, maybe the things that you don't do. I mean, what would be, those few things right now that we can kind of open up and get maybe deeper into?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Before I dig into that, I always like to share this. I'm a big believer in gratitude. It's typically how I start a lot of my trainings. And so as a way to kind of interact with the incredible team here, John, I always love and ask their favor if they could find the chat box just real quick and just take a moment before myself and John and Miss Sean, pour into you guys. Just do me a favor, if you would, and just show your gratitude, appreciation, and thankfulness for John and Sean and some of the other incredible leaders on here. I just always love coming from that place. I actually got a sign hanging right above my wall over here. It says, "Be humble." Always try to come from a place of being humble, being grateful. And here's what I know for sure, John, is you do a lot to serve this team, the profession, the company. And I don't think you get told thank you enough. So I always love just encouraging those on the live trainings to take a moment and share their gratitude, which I think is cool. So look at all these comments coming in. See, I get the goosebumps, man. Like this just how it should be, right? We're in the people business at the end of the day. And I guess that will kind of take me right in. And, I really love to spend some time and answer some detailed questions and stuff. But if I had to give you guys a few quick thoughts around social media, here's what I'll say. Number one is there's only one constant when it comes to technology, and that is change. There's only one constant, right? Just when you feel, anybody else relate to this? Just when you feel like you're getting the hang of Facebook or Instagram or live videos or any of those things, all of a sudden what happens? Everything changes. I was so grateful to hear that you guys actually got to hear from my good buddy, Mr. Fraser Brooks, last week. Him and I are great friends. We're actually going to be speaking at a mastermind together in Dubai in February. Don't tell anybody that I told you that. It might be a secret. But he's a great buddy of mine. Him and I think a lot alike. We value people. We want to teach this profession how to take their marketing efforts to the next level. We understand the value of creating content, building trust with people, not going out there just trying to sell products or just trying to sell an opportunity, but really viewing social media in this way. And here's one tip I want to start with. What I have found over the last 10 plus years, for those who are maybe struggling on social media to build their network marketing business, is they approach social media with, what can I get? Meaning, how can I show up on Facebook today? How can I get more sales? How can I get more customers? How can I get more recruits? And I'm like, wait. That's not how this actually works, right? We have to come from a place. Yes, you have amazing products. Yes, you have an amazing compensation plan. Yes, you're a part of an incredible profession. But here's what we must understand. If we want to ultimately get, we must first give. So every single day when I wake up, whether it's me making a post on social media, me going to do a live video on social media, just have a conversation with someone, I always ask myself, how can I best give to the platform, to the people who trust in me, to follow me, to plug into my content? How can I be of value and impact to them today? Because at the end of the day, we always preach this, all of us, right? This isn't about us. This is about us reaching out our hand and having the opportunity to help one individual, two individuals, three individuals. And I feel that social media in general, whether it's Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, I mean, I don't know about you guys, and I'm not going to get all faith driven and crazy on you guys here today, but I look to social media as an absolute gift. It's a gift. But I also want you to understand that it should not, and this is my stance on this, social media should not replace the good old home meetings, the good old three-way calls, the good old, whatever that might be, the in-person events. I feel that it shouldn't be this or that. It should be a healthy combination of the two. And so if we could all start approaching social media with what can I give versus what can I get, I tell you what, a lot of great things are going to happen. I always preach to remember we're not in the products business. We're not in the whose compensation plan is better business. At the end of the day, what we have to understand, whether it's on social media or not, we are in the people business. And without people, guess what? You don't have a business. So doesn't it make sense to approach social media in a way, not with what can I go sell on social media today? It should be, right? How can I further connect, establish genuine relationships and connections with other human beings? Because at the end of the day, without people, we don't have a business. And everybody said, amen. How about that start, John? I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm 1,000% behind. And, I see this, we talked about it last week too, but, these people, they just prospect, sending you links, sending you this. Nobody pays any attention to that stuff. You need to first connect with that person. You need to be real and you need to be interested. You need to be sincerely interested in that person and building that rapport, and then it will naturally evolve. It will evolve into what do you do, or I have that how you can give or how you can help. But I see that probably as the biggest mistake people make. They just jump right in. You should look at my business. No, I mean, hey, about what's going on with them, getting to know them. So maybe give us some ideas on how to create that engagement, how to build that relationship and that trust in that giving nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of simple things I'd love to start off with. I think, after all these years in the space, helping so many folks and focusing on social media, one of the number one challenges network marketers come to me with is, I've run out of people to talk to. And I'm like, are you kidding me? There's 2 billion people on Facebook alone. I think Instagram's, almost 1.5 billion now. Like, it's crazy the amount of people out there who need what you have. But a lot of times there's just a lack of, well, how do I actually make this happen? So if I was to give you, I'm a tactical coach and trainer, by the way. So I love kind of like step 1, step 2, step 3. That's how I kind of love to operate. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. But if I was to give you a couple thoughts as far as like a DMO of what we should be focused on every single day on social media, let's go right from the top, shall we? Number 1, I would challenge each and every one of you, whether this is your first day in the company and in the profession, or you're a seasoned veteran or anybody in between. Remember, this is a people business. So number 1, you should be focused on reaching out and connecting to 5 new people every single day. Okay. Now I call this a reach out. Okay. A reach out is the very first message to a brand new contact. This is you actively pursuing a relationship, a conversation, a connection with 5 new people every single day. By a show of hands, you guys up for the challenge? 5 messages to 5 new people every single day, right? Okay, let's do a little bit of math, shall we? Let's just do a little bit of math. If you did that every single day for the week, 5 times 7, 35, right? Times that by 2, 70. Times that by 2, that would be what? 140 new conversations with new people every single month. Now times that by 12, I think it's over 1,600. So if I was to ask you, would you be okay with adding 1,600 plus new relationships, new connections to your network every single year? Would that be pretty cool? You'd be like, heck yeah, Coach Fryer, sign me up. How do I do that? I just shared. Now the next question typically becomes, well, Coach Fryer, where do I find these people? Where do I find these people? And here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm assuming most of you are on Facebook, right? Okay. Here's my challenge for you. Start with your existing friends list. I would bet my bottom dollar, let's say that you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, for example, right? I would bet my bottom dollar that you've probably never even had a conversation with about 800 of them. They're just your virtual friends, but we've never actually had a conversation with them. So guess what? Start there. Okay. And now one more piece to this puzzle is typically, well, Coach Fryer, what do I say? what do I say to these people, right? I've never talked to them. I don't know them from whatever. I don't know them from Sam. Like, I don't know. What do I say? And here's a simple formula that we love teaching that you can follow, okay? It goes like this: name, compliment, question. Name, compliment, question. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due. The first two parts of this, the name and the compliment, actually came from the great Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of my all-time favorite books of all time. If you guys have not read that, go get that book. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said that when you say someone's name in a conversation, or you're meeting them for the first time in person and they say their name and you reiterate their name out loud, it's a new level of connection with that individual. They're going to respond. The conversation has now become personal. They're going to pay that much more attention. Very powerful. Little sales psychology here, right? Okay. The second part to that is a compliment. We're all humans. Show of hands. How many of you guys love to receive a good old compliment every now and again, right? We're all humans. We love compliments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over here jealous. Like, I love John's background over there. He's got the fire going. I'm like over here, like, man, like, let's go, right? Okay, right? We all love a good compliment, okay? And then the last part, I actually decided to add on that part. I actually have a degree in psychology. And so, couple the sales psychology thoughts with social media and network marketing. I just love how this all works. And here's one of the biggest recruiting tips I guess I could share with you is when you reach out to talk to someone, finish your message with a question for two reasons. Number one, it's going to spark a reply. Much higher likelihood that they reply to you when you finish with a question. And the second benefit to finishing with a question is the person who asked the questions, John, you know this very well, Sean, you as well, right? Okay, is what? Typically in control of the conversation. The best recruiters in all of network marketing, online or offline, are some of the best people at asking questions and listening with the intent to listen. So 5 reach outs a day. Okay. I want to just take this up a notch because some of you are like, okay, coach, that's pretty simple. That's pretty easy. I can do 5 conversations, 2 to 3 minute conversations. I can do that in probably under 10 minutes a day. And if that's you, here's my challenge for you guys. Double those numbers. Ultimately, in the next 4, 8, 12 weeks, where I would love all of you to be, is to do 10 reach outs each and every day. Okay. That's over what? 3,300 new contacts, new connections, new relationships each and every year. You want to talk about filling your pipeline full of new potential prospects, great conversations? We all know the numbers, and this is going to set an incredible foundation for you guys on social. John, I'm going to kick it back to you. I could keep going for hours, but want to just pause for just a moment. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love it. You really breaking it. I mean, as you're going over that 5 a day, right? And you really, what we're talking about, going into interest groups, going into different places, sending friend requests to 5 people a day, and maybe sending them a private message, right? You've looked at their wall. So you know a little bit about them. And it might be, maybe it's a picture of a vacation they were on. And to go in your format, what you're talking about is you might, hey, Brian, listen, I just saw your picture. It looked like you were in Dubai. How was it there? Is that worth going? Right. So you've said their name, you've referenced something that you've paid attention to them, and then you ask them a question about it. Right. And so you've powerful. Engaged that conversation. And I mean, folks, think about this. Every single one of you could do that. How would it change your business if you actually took the next week, the next 7 days, reached out to 5 people a day? And then what if you repeated it, 1,600 people? Do you think that would change your business? And then you think of the compounding effect of those that follow that suit. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of connections that could be done through connecting and then that person duplicating that story. And hey, if you want to pour fuel on it, double it, do 10 a day. Guys, you could do that. Half hour a day, you can make 10 connections, send 10 messages a day. Unbelievable, powerful information. So what's next?
What's next? So running out of people to talk to is obviously the biggest challenge, right? And hopefully I just squashed that limiting belief, that challenge that maybe some of you have had up to this point. I think that the second most powerful thing that I could potentially share is actually something I don't typically share publicly, John, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share it right now. So I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll. And this is actually an exercise that, when someone comes to me and they wanna grow their name, their brand, their business on social media, they've gotta learn how to create some content. You know what I'm saying? They've gotta learn how to create posts, not just about your product or business, but you've got to learn how to create value, right? You've got to learn how to create content that's ultimately going to what? Attract back, right? Your ideal new customer, business builder, heck, just friend and connection, okay? So this next thing I'd love to share is what I like to call the foundation of creating content online. I call this the 5 pillars of my brand, okay? The 5 pillars of my brand. And this is a 3-step exercise that we won't do actually live on here today. I want to challenge you after this training is over to take 10 to 15 minutes, because that's all it's going to take, and you to do these 3 steps, this exercise. And what's ultimately going to come from this is you're going to create your own 5 pillars of your brand. So let me elaborate, okay? 3 simple steps. Step number 1, you're going to get out a blank piece of paper, okay? And you're going to brain dump on that paper 25 to 30 words or small phrases that tell me all about you. Meaning, if we met in person for the first time and I had no idea who you were, and you just handed me that piece of paper and I looked at all those different types of words, I would know exactly what type of person you are, what you value, what you represent, some of your hobbies, some of your interests, how much family means to you. I mean, I'm going to learn everything about you by just looking at that piece of paper. Okay. So that's step number 1, brain dump, 25 to 30 words, small phrases. Step number 2, I now want you to look at all those amazing words that describe you. And I want you to circle what you feel are the top 5 that are just jumping off the paper at you. Like you're looking at it, you're like, oh my goodness, that is me summed up to a T right there. Okay. I told you this was going to be easy, right? I told you this was going to be easy. Step number 3. Now you're going to take those 5 that you circled. You're going to flip the paper over and you're going to now list those in order of importance. Pillar number 1, pillar number 2, pillar 3, 4, and 5. What you will have created, what I like to call, is the foundation for every single piece of content you create on social media moving forward. John, one of the biggest challenges, people always come to me, Coach Fryer, I don't know what to post. I don't know how to post. I don't know how to, I'm like, no. Let's do this simple exercise. You've now laid the foundation, right? Now we can go out and build the house. Okay. I want to give you guys a couple of examples. So this will start making some sense. Okay. So I'm going to share just a couple of my pillars to give you guys some ideas. Okay. So pillar number 1 for Coach Fryer is faith, right? No, I'm not going to start preaching to you guys, but faith is pillar number 1 for Coach Fryer. Okay. Done. Okay. Pillar number 1, faith. The next question is, okay, step 2, how do I turn this into content? Well, here's my personal content strategy for my faith pillar. I make 2 posts every single week on Facebook that is faith related, faith oriented. Okay. One post might be scripture that I read that morning. Another one might just be a faith related quote that I found online, might be a story, might be something like that. Right. Okay. One other way that Coach Fryer implements his faith into his marketing efforts, Sean knows this. I've been doing live videos for, since live videos inception. I think 2,000-3,000 live videos now. It's crazy. But I did something on my very first live and it wasn't intentional. It just kind of came out and I've stuck with that ever since, right? And it's something along the lines of, as I get towards the end of each video, I say, God bless each and every single one of you. See you on the next video. Like that's just rolls off the tongue. So let me ask all of you guys something. If you are new to following me and you saw 2 faith-related posts, maybe you watched one of my videos and you heard me say that at the end of my video, what would you assume about Coach Fryer? What would you assume about me? Any thoughts over in the chat? What would you assume? What would you assume about that guy? Yeah, believer. Yeah. Pretty simple. Okay. Here's where the magic comes in. Okay. So step 1, create the pillar. Step 2, create content around the pillar. Step 3, guess what type of people I typically attract back to me? Magical.
Same answer.
Isn't it? It's magical. It's magical how this works, right? Okay. So that's one example. Okay. Here's I'll just give you guys another example. Okay. I'm just curious. Maybe I can just survey some of the team here. What comes to mind for you guys? What would maybe one of the pillars be for you? I want to actually maybe use one of your guys' examples. Okay. And we'll use it like a live little show and tell. Family is a great one. I'm looking for something a little bit more tangible, like a hobby or an interest of yours. A foodie, says Lisa, right? Awesome. Okay. Foodie. I love it. Okay. So you're a foodie. What does that mean? You like to cook, you like to, go to like different places and eat food. Like maybe elaborate a little bit for me on that. But long story short, if foodie is one of your pillars, you like trying different varieties of food and you start sharing that with your audience, what's naturally going to happen? Who are you going to attract? Other people who also have a diverse, right? Love for food, trying different foods, all of those cool things, right? Very, very powerful. And you guys being in the health and wellness space, I mean, doesn't it make sense that that's going to attract more people who probably have an interest in their health, maybe even bettering their health, right? Okay. Very, very simple. There's another example down there. Somebody said outdoor activities, camping, right? Okay. Hiking. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one for an example. Okay. And then John, I'll kick it back to you. Hiking. Okay. Hiking is one of your pillars. Awesome. You're going to create 2 pieces of content, 2 posts per week about hiking. Okay. Who's this naturally going to attract? Other people who have an interest in hiking. Some of you might be saying, well, Coach Fryer, what the heck does that have to do with our products? What the heck does that have to do with our company? What you're missing, right, is that hiking has like its own pocket or pool of people on social media. Maybe it's a Facebook group all about hiking. If I were you, I'd be digging into 2 or 3 Facebook groups all about hiking because that's something that you have a common interest with those folks. And then ultimately, here's what I want you to ask yourself. Of all those folks out there who love to hike, would you agree that they also care somewhat, right, about their health? See how this works? I just helped you tap into a whole new pocket of people on something like Facebook to bring back to your profile, to back to plug into the rest of your content so that you can begin to form a relationship or a connection with them. And you can literally do this with any pillar. Hopefully that's helpful, John. Kick it back to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because it really is. It's a roadblock that so many people hit, right? They come into network marketing, they go through, let's say, that low-hanging fruit, that immediate friends and family, and then, and likely that group of people isn't real productive, right? And they're done, right? And so, guys, you have to, if you want to be successful in network marketing, you have to learn to expand that warm market, to expand that contact base. And the easiest way to do that, and you can do it all over the world, is social media. And if you're going to attract those people, it only makes sense to attract people with similar interests because you can build that rapport. And so exactly what you're talking about. And even when you talked about putting down that list of 25 people, I would bet most people on here, haven't really thought about who they really are, right? And that little exercise of writing down those 25 words or phrases that describe you, I mean, it can really help you zero in on who you are and where your interests really do lie, because maybe we've never really thought about it in that way. And that gives you incredible guidance to go attract similar, like-minded people. And so I love what you're saying here. And then of course, like you said, once you've established, where your interests really are, right? Going into that hiking group, going into that sports group, going in like Amy Greenfield. I don't know if she's on here, her son plays professional hockey. And so she can easily have conversations with anyone in hockey. It doesn't have to be about business. Matter of fact, you don't want it to be about business. You want it to be about hockey. You want to ask those questions. And I think that's another, folks, major point is asking questions. right? I mean, even when I do a three-way call, I do the exact same thing. I'm doing a three-way call. Brian, you're a prospect. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. Tell me about you, and I'm going to listen, right? And then I'm going to ask follow-up questions. I mean, one of the mistakes I think people make is all they do is talk. All they do is talk and preach. And it is all about getting, and when you can have communication with people. Well, they'll leave a conversation, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, and they'll be just like, that was an incredible conversation. And literally, they did all the talking. All you did was just listen and ask a few follow-up questions. So phenomenal. Well, listen, we're coming up on 45 minutes here. What I would like to do is I'd like to kind of open it up to the audience. I know they've been giving you some feedback on the chat, but if there's someone that wants to ask a specific follow-up question or has an example, right, of maybe doing exactly what Coach Fry is talking to us about, or a hurdle that they're maybe we'll open it up, see if anybody wants to come off mute and give us some feedback that will lead to another some coaching from Coach Fry.
Let's do it. Fire away.
I've got a question. What are you looking for at a point to bridge to business?
I'm sorry, say it again, Jim.
In your conversations, in your exchange back and forth, using the guidance you've given, at what point do you what key do you look for to bridge to business?
Phenomenal question. So let me tee this up, okay? Let's go back to my reach outs just real quick, okay? That's what's defined as a reach out, the first message to a brand new contact. Here's my own personal stance on this. John mentioned this earlier, like not to go out and just prospect people like crazy and, hey, join my business, join my team. So I kind of have a rule of thumb I failed to mention. I'm not the biggest fan of mentioning product or business during the reach out message, okay? So I just want to plant that seed first, okay? But the next question that now Jim asks, phenomenal question, by the way, is now when do I pop the question? When do I pop the question? And Jim, I wish I had a specific answer for you, but here's the good news is every single person, every single prospect you talk to is going through different things. They're going through different challenges, different obstacles, different hurdles in their own life. So I can't sit here and say to pop the question on the second conversation or the fifth conversation. But here's what I can give you guidance on, okay, is the better questions we learn to ask, the more opportunities we're going to find to see if they are open, right, to learning more about our product or our business. I'm going to give you an example or two, right? Let's say that you and I are having a conversation and, you're just asking me, hey, how's it going? What's this, what's that? And I start, here's the natural thing about people, right? We like to talk. So if you're asking them the questions, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do what? A whole lot of talking. And if you listen intently and can identify a pain, a problem, an obstacle, a challenge that maybe they're going through health-wise, financial-wise, just listen for those red flags. Could be in the second conversation, Jim, could be in the third, could be in the fifth. But when that opportunity arises, okay, let's say that you and I are having a conversation. It's our third conversation together and you're just checking in on me. Hey, Brian, just checking in, see how things are going. And all of a sudden I just unleashed on you. I'm like, Jim, man, listen, man, it's been a freaking terrible week, man. I found out that, I just got my hours cut back at work and it's the pits, man. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. They're taking away my 401k. They're doing all this stuff. So I'm sitting here crying the blues to you, right, Jim? Right? This would be the opportunity. Red flag, right? Waving the white flag. Opportunity. Here's what I would say if I was in your shoes. I would say something like this. Wow, Brian, so sorry to hear this first and foremost. Now, listen, this might sound totally crazy, buddy. I feel for you. I hear you. What's going on? This might sound absolutely crazy, but I was in a similar position not long ago. And my good friend, John, actually gave me a shout and introduced me to something that has quite frankly turned around my financial, future and the position. Would you be open to learning a little bit more about what it is John introduced me to? If not, no worries. It's all good.
I just want to expand on that because just that last phrase, if not, no worries, taking that pressure off of them, not have it be uncomfortable, right? Where all of a sudden they're going to disappear on you. But I also, this whole listening to get to know them, asking them questions. You can scroll on their news feeds, see what they're up to, see what they're doing. But one of the questions, because when you ask people questions, not only do they answer them, but then they can tend to ask you similar questions, right? So it might be, we've gone back and forth a little bit, and it might be, Jim, what do you, I'm curious, what do you do for a living? Right? And they're going to go, and then it might, if they don't ask you, you might say, wow, that's fascinating. I mean, you must love that. And no, to be honest, I hate it. I want to get out of it. Well, have you ever thought about, or, they're going to come back to you and ask you what you do. And that's going to open up the door, well, to be honest with you, I'm doing something I never imagined. I was a maintenance person, and somebody knocked on my door, so to speak, and introduced me to something that I could never imagine myself doing. And it's now become my life. Right. And build that curiosity, right? Build that curiosity. And you can do this on social media. You can do this on an airplane. Right? I mean, you can be sitting next to an airplane. When I'm on an airplane next to somebody, I don't prospect them. I get to know them. Who, what do you do? And ask them. And before that is over, they're going to ask you, if you ask them what you do and you show an interest in them, they're going to ask you what you do. And then you can tell them, right? And if they don't ask you what you do, and it's getting close to landing, you just say, I bet you wonder what I do. I mean, it's having fun and having that interaction with people. The window will use your gut and win that, but don't jump in too quick into that. Right. I mean, that would be probably the no-no, right? Brian would be jumping in too quick to prospecting them.
100%, because then it looks like the only intent you had was to pitch the product or business. I remember, people are what's most important. Without people, you don't have a business. So that's why I say, Jim, hopefully that's helpful, that there is no like, hey, on the fourth message, that's when you drop the question. No, because every prospect is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that's helpful.
And you know what? Play around with it. If you go in too quick, you'll know it, right? Because all of a sudden they go dark on you, right? But get that interaction, get to play around with it. But I think, to reiterate, and I don't mean to beat this to death, but it is so critical to be real with them. Be a little vulnerable with them. Open up to them a little bit, but don't jump into trying to prospect them. Right? Let that naturally unfold, and use your gut. You're gonna have that moment.
Good stuff, John.
Thank you both. Good information.
Great stuff. Great question.
And
Jim.
guys, every single one of you can do this. Every single one of you. You can sit there and you can fill your pipeline beyond belief if you do this. I mean, if you just make a commitment, listen, I am going to take 30 minutes every single day. While I'm having my coffee, I'm going to go into some interest groups. I'm going to first do exactly what Brian said. Write down those 20. I mean, this is a great exercise, right? Write down those 25 words or phrases that best describe in your mind who you are, right? Find out who you are. What do you really believe in? What do you really enjoy? What do you really stand for, right? And then go find like-minded people that you can build that rapport with. There's interest groups, and just go out with an intent to build some relationships. And if the prospects come in the process of it, fantastic. And I promise you they will. So
good.
One last somebody jump in here, and then we'll get some closing words from Brian. And Sean, I'd love for you to jump back in here and, give us your input. I mean, because I was at Loomerland, and, I mean, you're a picture of health, both you and Ty. You live this stuff. You love this stuff. And it just pours out of you guys that you are all about helping people, right? I mean, there's nobody that can question that. That is your purpose. That is your intent. But we're sitting around having a real fireside chat. Judy Daniels asked me to come down to a big bonfire, massive bonfire. There's probably 30 of us around it. And we had a real life fireside chat. And you're the product guy, but boy, you jumped in there from a business standpoint, and you know what you're talking about. You had passion, you had intensity, and you had content, right? So I'm just saying that, guys, you never know what happens at a big live event, how things, unfold. But I absolutely remember that fireside chat that we had around that real live fire and your input and contribution to that.
Well, thank you. I mean, Brian, you're phenomenal. John, you're phenomenal. I just eat this stuff up. I love this so much because as you said, John, Brian, in the beginning, tactical. You're very specific. And it is coaching. I mean, you break things down, because sometimes people just talk and and I do this sometimes. It's too high, high level, big picture, and not broken down small enough so I can just take a little bite and another little bite and start putting pieces together. I think, one of the things when you're getting into these groups and things like that on social media, people see through when you are not being authentic or genuine. If you don't like hiking, don't go join the hiking group, in my opinion, because you think they're interested in health. And you can kind of they're going to see and smell and sense that. We are mirrors. We do attract what we put out. So you really want to be who you are, because you're going to enjoy those conversations. They're going to feel and sense that, and you are going to have some common things to discuss and talk about. So keep it real. I just see so many people trying to join this group and that group because, they would be into supplements or they would be into whatever it is. No, it doesn't work that way. I mean, maybe a little something, but it's not. This is long-term. These relationships are what take you to the promised land, right? These relationships, these new relationships, are what keep going. And that's where your retention comes in. And that's where your referrals come in. All these different things. It's a rippling effect. It's a beautiful thing. But what I love about what Coach Brian is saying here, like doing the little things builds confidence. Because if we really are honest about all of this stuff, the biggest challenge that some people have in networking, et cetera, is they don't have enough self-confidence in not only what they're doing or what to say, but in themselves. And so those little nuggets, those little wins, those little action steps make you feel better. You get more comfortable. You're doing positive things to build, your relationships, which would then again build the business. But what it's really doing is it's building your own self-esteem, your own self-confidence to get that faith, to get that belief. None of this is difficult. It does go back to a belief first. You have to believe in what you're doing and what you have to kind of share with people once you get to that point. So I just love the way, Brian, that you've broken it down into bite-sized pieces. And I know you have so much more you can share and teach, and you're just giving a little, these aren't even the appetizers, man. They're maybe one little plate of nuggets, but you're fantastic. I mean, this is, and John, the way you get all this, and we're our age, we've been through the belly to belly only, because that's all there ever was, right? And then we've seen things kind of move into a more technology driven place. But this interaction, I think now more than ever, getting involved in groups that you can create some new relationships. Maybe it never leads to business, but you do have some new connections that are very real, that can really, do some nice things in each other's lives. And that's what it's all about. People need now more than ever, in my opinion, the technology, because we need human connection still. And I'm grateful for technology. I'm grateful for Zoom. I'm grateful for, lives. I'm grateful that I can see my buddy Brian right now. I get to see Brian. I haven't seen Brian. I can look at him. I can hear him. I can see him smile. I can see him. That we have to be grateful for technology and social media, because it's a different time. Things are a little bit different. We don't always get to be around each other. And just like Brian said, and John, I know you believe this too, it's a combination of things. The face-to-face serves all these other things. But what a great way, Brian, that you're just giving these little nuggets to help people just kind of cast that net, instead just a little bit wider or different, coming from that perspective where it really will tie things together for them.
Well, fantastic. Sean, as you're talking initially, and I couldn't help but think back to you and I, our first meeting. You flew into Las Vegas. We went and had lunch together, and neither one of us tried to sell, pitch. All we did was we just had conversation, right? And we got to know each other. And if something came out of it, fantastic. But it wasn't. There was no hidden agenda on either one of us' part. We just came together and connected, and we talked and we communicated. And so we do that at every level, folks. That's what you have to do. You have to do. And Brian also, he mentioned how to win friends and influence people. I mean, folks, there's so much incredible information because this is a people business. Learning how, there's another, I've listened to this multiple times. It's Napoleon Hill Revisited. And it's conversations out of the Think and Grow Rich book. And one of the chapters in there is, I think it was 100 different things of a pleasing personality. Phenomenal information. And you can see, interrupting people or contradicting people. I mean, all these things that make people not like you, right? And the things that make people like you, and you listen to that and see if you're doing some of those things. Right. So it is a process. Brian, we appreciate you so much. So in last words, okay, as we close out here, give us your last words and tell us if someone wants to get more information, more of your teachings, where would they find that?
Love it, John. Well, first and foremost, man, it's been an honor to hang out with you guys for the last hour. It really means a lot to me to have earned your guys' trust to be here today to serve the team. So thank you guys for the opportunity. If there was one last bit of wisdom that I would leave you guys with, it's actually an acronym that I created last year when I launched my first book. So here's a question I have for each and every one of you. By a show of hands, how many of you truly want to make an impact in the lives of not only yourself, but of others? Just raise your hand. How many of you guys just want to make an impact? Here's what you might not realize, okay, is in order to make an impact, you have to do something specifically. So I want all of you, real quick activity, get out your pieces of paper, write the word impact vertically, IMPACT, on your piece of paper. Okay. You see, impact means so much more to me than just saying the word impact. Okay. It means so much to me that I actually created an acronym, and here's what it stands for, in my opinion. Impact stands for I'm moving past all challenges today. I'm moving past all challenges today. You see, here is my final words of wisdom. If you truly want to make an impact, not only in your own life, but in the life of others, you have to overcome what? Your personal challenges. Impact is a decision. Leadership is a decision. Success is a decision. So I want to challenge each and every one of you to draw a line in the sand, whatever challenges, personally, professionally, social media wise, whatever that is, make a decision today that you're going to do your best to overcome those, because that's ultimately how you're going to make the biggest impact. And with all that being said, I mean, there's lots of ways they can find me, John. I mean, I'm on just about every platform possible. I will tell you guys this. Facebook has always been my bread and butter. You guys can find me over there. But if you really want some of my most recent, best free content, I've been dumping a whole bunch of crazy good stuff over on Instagram, especially in the form of Instagram Reels. Okay, so if you guys are Instagram fans, or not, head over to Instagram. Make sure you follow me, Coach_Fryer. Coach_Fryer. Lots of great free stuff over there. You guys can continue to learn about how I preach and what I teach. Again, John, thank you guys so much. Sean, appreciate the intro, man. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you, everyone. Remember, 5 people that were on this Zoom today are going to get in a drawing. 5 GoPro tickets will be given away next Friday. From the audience that was here today. We'll see you again next Friday. Remember, go to my YouTube channel, smash that like button, share it, hit the notification so you're alerted whenever we go live or post another video. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Brian.